The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to a special Video Games to the Max here, as the Game Awards ended about an hour ago, and we're gonna give a rundown and reaction to the winners and what was shown off as far as the premieres and all that stuff, and just how they did this year as a whole on the event. And there's some news to talk about, obviously, as well, with some big announcements happening there and before. And then, of course, I've also been playing Xenoblade 2, so and I'm actually almost near finished with the game, so I'll talk about that. And on Saturday, at some point, we'll come back with a PlayStation Experience reactions, and then whatever stuff has come out from that. So you'll get two shows from us this week, as I don't know why we have to have two big shows right at the end of the year, but hey, it gives us stuff to talk about. And of course, here with me is Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
So, I know you're feeling a little bit under the weather, Mark. So
Yeah, I'm developing a cold, so my cold is currently pre-release.
it's in early access, waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting for you to get worse as it goes on.
Just like Battlefield 2.
For sure. So, I guess in general, before we talk about what exactly went down, and we're not really going to talk about the pre-show stuff, because I think I tuned in like the last 5 minutes of that. But what did you think of the show this year as a whole, as opposed to last year, and then obviously the ones that have been around before it?
I mostly thought it was fine. There was a tad too much trailers, or like just commercials, and
Lots of commercials.
I would say like a tad too much celebrity involvement. Like the one that was good was Zachary Levy. Like his joke when he opened the envelope was great, but the others were just kind of bland.
Yeah, I didn't mind Del Toro because he was there with Kojima, so it's...
Yeah, he had a decent joke also, but like they didn't need to show his movie trailer. We know it's a good movie. It's coming out, or it's out now. Not around me at all, but and yeah, I a lot of stuff won that I kind of expected. Like nothing that I really wanted to win one, except for like Nier for like music. But that's kind of about it.
Well, Persona 5 won the best RPG.
Yeah, and they spent so much time on it for a full 3 seconds.
Right, yeah. After announcing like 3 other awards all in one.
Yeah, they did 4. They banged out 4 awards in they banged out 5 awards in 15 seconds. He's just like, Persona 5 won for RPG, like Last of Us 1 for Part 2, 1 for Most Anticipated, and a few other stuff. And it's like, whoa, like, slow down.
Yeah, really.
Like you don't need to get you don't need to have people come up for every game, but he did like 5 of those in like 15 or 20 seconds. You just like, all right, now back to a trailer, and it's like, okay. Like I may have cut like 1 of the 3 music performances. I'm thinking about the second one.
Yeah, I would have cut the one with Phoenix, because that's just random, and it's like, I like Phoenix and all, but like they are not one of these bands that we really need to sit there and hear from Uh, you know, if it was like a big name band, like when they had Motley Crue one year and all that, that's fine. But not something. I'd much rather had them have the orchestra. Like the orchestra thing, I thought was cool. The way they
Yeah,
introduced the.
the opening was good, and then the Pauline, like the singer doing Pauline at the
Hmm.
end was good, but that
Yeah.
middle one was a drag.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly.
And I thought like she was important, but I thought the like historical award or game, I forget what they call it, that went on for a long time.
Yeah. God.
Like not to disparage her or anything. Like she was important, obviously, but that went on for
Right.
a good 15 minutes or 10 minutes at
I
least.
mean,
And
I
it's
was
like,
fine with that because it's about gaming. So like it didn't bother me as much as like the performance did, or like having one too many trailers. And for me, like also like I get it that the guy that goes on the rant probably wasn't supposed to talk for that long. But if you're gonna end the show at like 11:45, what does it matter if you give 15 more minutes and you announce some more awards?
yeah, they announced
It,
a bunch of awards like they do always, like awards that aren't important enough to be on the show, and like they did the esport, uh, not esport, but like the esport competitor award. Like they ran through those twice. Like I don't need to see those guys a second time. When when they show the video of them, doing whatever, they can just
yeah.
say, "And this guy won." Like you don't need to wait a half hour, show that footage again, and go, "Oh, now I won." It's like, no, I got it the first time. I don't care about any of those games that anyone is playing in that thing. So, but yeah, okay. So I think that thing is getting slowly better. Or it's not like embarrassing like it was, like a few years ago. Having like, I think having Jeff Keighley like host most of it helps. Uh, and I thought the Andrew House stuff was good.
Yeah, I really liked his. He had a really good speech. It was very kind of heartwarming and sweet, and then led into the award that it made sense for as well. The whole impact
That was
gaming or
that was slightly weird because he just went into it like they didn't have any clips or anything. It was just him, on camera on his face or side view and going like, "Here are the 5 awards or 5 nominees, and here's the award winner." And it's like, all right, I don't know what any of these games are. I know like Life is Strange and Hellblade, but that's about it.
yeah. I knew Life is Strange, Hellblade, and the did they do? I think Night in the
Edith
Woods was
Finch.
also
Edith
Edith
Finch was the
Finch, and yeah, which that was the only. They started off. I guess we might as well just go ahead into it. So they start off with Edith, the best narrative, which is best story, whatever you want to phrase it as. And the only game that I have nothing to say about that won something is the Edith Finch winning for best narrative, which is like a 2-hour game, and it's fine. Like there was that fight that I think we had and many other people had about Walking Dead, the first season being a game of the year, and all that, and people cited the whole fact that it's short and everything else. So that doesn't bother me. I just don't. I can't speak on its story compared to the other games that are in that category. So it's hard for me to say that I agree with it or not. But it kind of it was, I guess, cool to see an indie dev get to go up there and talk and whatever to start out the show. But it was also kind of weird standing up to those other behemoths that are up there.
Yeah, but yeah,
Hey,
overall it was fine. Like nothing I really liked or even played won, which is kind of interesting to me.
yeah, they. So let me go back through my notes here. So they start out with that. The first game that they show is an indie game from Campo Santo, which is the In the Valley of the Gods. These are the same people that made
Firewatch.
Firewatch, so it felt like that kind of game. You're walking around. It looks like they took something from like a canyon-looking area, and I don't know. I'm guessing she's looking at. I don't know if you're supposed to be her husband or her partner in crime. I don't know what you're supposed to be.
Well, I thought they were like sisters. It seemed because I think you're
Oh,
playing a woman too.
oh yeah, could be that too. Sisters, partners, whatever. They could be going that route too. Which no problem there either if they want to do that. It looked interesting. I guess I can't really say one way or the other just from what we saw, but
I'm just curious if it'll have a thing where you can order pictures from Campos Santos and get them mailed to you, like in Firewatch.
they could.
Well, that thing had a movie camera, so maybe like
Right.
you film something and then you order a DVD from Campos Santos instead.
Yeah, I mean, you could, they could just deliver them to you digitally. You give them your email. They could do that as well. Who knows? After that, they did best action game was Wolfenstein 2, which totally going to probably be overshadowed by the fact of Zachary Levi being the guy that gave out the award, and they took a shot at microtransactions with he couldn't open the envelope until he slid his card, which was great. Great joke. And yeah, so no problem with I mean, for me, Wolfenstein 2, I obviously many of the games that were in that category could have won, but certainly a action shooter. I
Yeah,
felt like it deserved it, and yeah, the shot at microtransactions, wonderful. And he let everybody know that it was stupid, not once, but twice.
I mean it was a good game. I haven't played it, but I mean I know it's good, so I'm all for it.
Of course, that stuff gets better later when we have the aforementioned A Way Out dude decide to talk. Best art direction is Cuphead,
Yeah, that was
which
obvious.
that's no surprise at all. And they had the Studio MDHR family stand up there because hey, they're a family that made the game, so why not? They showed the DLC for Breath of the Wild, which then they got the big announcement of it coming out tonight, so you can go download that right now.
That that motorcycle thing he's driving looks like something from Tron.
Still looks still awesome that he has a freaking motorcycle. That makes that game so much easier to traverse through. Instead of, I mean, yeah, you have the horse and all, but
Yeah, but motorcycles going to be faster and not have stamina, I assume. So
yeah, I'm sure it may have, who knows? You might have to. There may be some trick to it where you can't use it the whole time or something like
I'm
that.
just. It looks like Link is fighting for the user now instead of like for Zelda.
End line. I'm waiting for the master to come out and go attack Link instead for
Yeah,
that. The Bethesda PSA with Linda Carter was great. The save player one, because we need to have saving for single player games. It was also a way to be an advertisement for Bethesda's games that were on sale as well. But I thought they did a good job. Bethesda always kind of does neat stuff like that, so
yeah.
better than the other advertisements for war gaming. They got like a zillion ads on this thing. You're making me. I know this sounds kind of, hipsterish or whatever, but it made me want to play the game less, not more.
I thought the one that was kind of obnoxious was honestly the Rocket League one. It's like, that game's been out for a few years now. We get it.
But everything's kind of gotten a revival on the Switch. Like,
yeah, but it's still been out. Like, it's not like a new game. You don't need to have 2 or 3 commercials showing it.
yeah, but to be fair, almost everything that's come out in the last, 2 months for the Switch got a commercial. Skyrim got a commercial. Xenoblade 2 got a commercial. What's the other? There was another one that they got a commercial for.
Xenoblade and Skyrim are fine, relatively speaking. Well, Xenoblade especially is fine because it's a new game. But, right. I mean, Skyrim came out, 3 weeks ago? Right. 4 weeks ago? Rocket League's been out for, 6 months or whatever.
Well, not on Switch. It came out, I think,
November
14th?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I agree with you. I get you. I do. I think it would have been interesting to, after you had the one guy from, I don't know what company, for Fortnite.
Epic.
Where he talked about wanting crossplay. I think that would have been the one time that it's appropriate, because Psyonix has also talked about how they could just flip a switch and put crossplay in.
Yeah.
For PS4. That was interesting, though, that they let that in, considering how much Sony was on this thing. So, but
yeah, but it was also apparent. I think it was live, so they're not going to cut it.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna, Jeff Keighley's not going to backhand him for saying that or something. Right. That'd be awesome if he did, but.
At least they're not being total. They did a lot of PR on this show, but at least there's still some reality there with it too. The industry icon thing, which Mark kind of hinted at. I think they gave it to Carol Shaw, the woman she helped create various games on Atari, but the one she's known the most for is for River Run. And I thought it was I get part of it's also because she's a woman, right, in gaming, and they want to make a big deal about that, and I think that's a good idea. They had Felicia Day go up there and present her, who's also trailblazed for women in gaming and everything else. I thought all that stuff was fine. I did like that she brought it to the present too, not just talking about games on the Atari.
I would say the only, this isn't a criticism, but do you know, before this award, did you know who this woman was?
No, I didn't. I think I tweeted that it did make me want to know more about her, I guess, after I watched it.
I guess if they're going to have, an important woman, one of those, not one of those, but, landmark woman, I'd have, Roberta Williams or maybe, Amy Hennig. She would have been actually kind of a cool choice, I think. But that's me.
I agree with you. I think the point of it was she was the first. So they wanted to, before we honor any other woman, not that they haven't, but, before we honor, or I don't know about the Achievement Award if another woman's won it before her, but...
I don't think so.
I mean, they've only had this thing for...
Yeah, well, wasn't the last one, Kojima?
Yeah, Kojima was the one last year, and I think Miyamoto's won as well, which obviously totally deserving, but I think their point was, if they're going to honor a woman first, they're going to start, from the beginning, and I think that's fine. It's the same thing when, they've had, a lot of people really didn't know who Ralph Baer is. And he's the guy that sort of, has the moniker of he created video games. Most people don't even really know about him at all. So I think it's sort of in that same aspect of, okay, here's somebody you probably don't know, but maybe you learn more about her after this. Or, I said, the only thing I did appreciate is that she actually, talked about games from today, wasn't just talking about, stuff on Atari, and she did throw out that little, hey, you can play old games. It's fine.
Yeah.
Which get so many of them remastered.
Just not legally for a lot of them because they're not around, can't easily get to them anymore.
Yeah, it's true. Or you got to pay like $50 or whatever to play the collection or something. Which, hey, for when you got to try to think about between playing a new game or that's where you got to make that decision. The best debut indie game, I think we both said when any of the people that were in this could have won. Pyre was in this, Night in the Woods, Hellblade. It was going to be Cuphead all the way. Cuphead won. No surprise. And this is where they started the whole. I think they'd done it once before, but none of those awards are really that important. But then this is where it was kind of like, okay, you're not going to show best RPG or best strategy game. And I guess you can make the case that Persona was already getting love for Game of the Year, so why do you have to show them? But I don't know. That felt kind of like
I just wish like Yoko Taro would have gotten on stage at some point.
that would have been great. Yeah, like the best. If you're gonna do, to be fair, I don't think they did any kind of sound thing on the show.
No, like they said, I think I don't know when they announced it. It might have just been the pre-show, or it might have been like within the first 5 minutes of the show. But they're like, "Oh, Nier Automata won for soundtrack," and then for some Hellblade award, they were like, "Oh, also won for best sound design." Like they don't care about that at all.
Well, yeah, because Hellblade won the best impact, the one that Andrew House presented.
Yeah.
And then they said, "Oh, they also won for best sound direction," which. Okay, like in that form, that doesn't bother me because if they already won, like they did with Zelda, where they won other awards, and okay, well they're already winning a big award here, so why do you need to also run that award that Zelda won too?
Yeah.
But like when they're not even going to announce an award for an entire genre, and it's not represented later. That's where it kind of bugs me.
Yep.
I guess the only thing I can see is that, oh, well, Mario's getting love already with the Game of the Year. Persona's already getting love with Game of the Year. So you don't need to announce them. But still, it's the point of, I'm sure those other games would love to have their name called, even if they don't win, just to, you get to think about them for a little bit.
It's some appreciation.
Yeah. So, it goes back to that whole, I bet there were points of this where he probably wanted it to end at 11:30, and some of it probably ran long and he didn't want it to.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go ahead and bite the bullet and have it be 2.5 hours, or 2 hours and 45 minutes, what it wound up being, that extra 5 or 10 minutes that you spend on announcing 2 or 3 more awards isn't going to hurt anything.
I would say there's probably at least 45 minutes of trailers. Like, not trailer, like new trailers. I just mean like commercials.
Oh, yeah, that too. And then, like, the weird thing is because they don't ever really go to a break or whatever, these commercials just feel like they're part of the show, and it's like, okay, this is even worse. This is like when WWE does commercials for the pay-per-views. It's like, oh, God. All right. And then not to mention, it's like, for some of them, it's the same one over and over, like the Wargaming one. It was like, okay, I think that guy that made the trailer got probably more publicity than...
I gotta admit, I got a real chuckle out of the Star Wars one.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, that's probably not good use of their money.
Yeah, no, it's not at all. But hey, why not? Remind people that that's in there. But Mario plus Rabbids won Best Strategy Game. Persona 5 won Best RPG. Then they make one of the big announcements from this show, which is Bandai Namco comes out to announce. They have the guys from Bandai Namco come out. I'm pretty sure Best Fighting Game was announced in that whole throwaway.
No, that came out later.
Oh, that came out later. Well, I have it right here. that it came out after they announced those. It came out after the Fortnite guy or
Yeah,
whatever.
I guess.
So Soul Calibur 6 gets announced, which that was really cool. I did not expect that at all. One of my favorite fighting games, so I'm down
I
for
mean,
that day one.
you say that, but your favorite version of that is Soul Calibur 1. Like the other games have, like Soul Calibur 5 is fine, but the other
Well, my
games have
favorite is Soul
tried.
Calibur 2 with Link in it.
Yeah,
But
obviously because
yeah,
of Link. If it wasn't
yeah.
for him, you wouldn't give him a
Well, I
fuck about
still
that
would have.
game.
No, I like the other characters in that game. Uh, I end up remembering more of the campaign with the narrator than I I do like some of the other ones. Like, I
That
agree
was one
with
other
you.
thing. Like the narrator in this game was bad. It's not the same. Like I like the over the top guy in like the first Soul Calibur game.
I agree that they try to
Like
make
the
it too
journey still
serious.
burns, that dude. Yeah, like they. I mean, I like Soul Calibur too, or I mean the first Soul Calibur, uh, as a concept, but it just feels like that series, like there's no one there to like really shepherd it, like with unlike with Tekken, and it just seems kind of lost. Like Soul Calibur 5 was a fine enough game, but like, did you play it?
I played it when it went on once it went on sale for like $5.
Yeah, exactly. Like no one bought it new, and like Ezio was kind of broken in that game because he was an only ranged character, so it's
I
like
also
okay.
felt like 5 just kind of came out of nowhere. Like the one that I remember 4 getting a big.
Well, 4 had the Star Wars characters, so that's why it was big then.
Okay, okay. That's why I agree with you. Like 5, I felt like had no buzz, and then I was kind of like when I thought on it, so I was like, oh, that's right, Soul Calibur 5. Okay, it's sitting on my
Like,
360.
yeah, I'm nothing against the series. Like, I love that first game, but it just feels like that series, like no one really cares. But like, you like it, but I don't think not a lot of people care about it. Like the new iterations.
Well, I like some of the I really like some of the characters, but I agree with you. It feels hopefully this time away because it's been what like
It's been 10
4 or
years.
5. It's been 10 years since 5.
No, not 10. It's been about maybe like 8.
Well, it's still a long time considering how much they make sequels now. If they've given it that long of a time off, you have to think that these guys and they're making a big deal about how Tekken was great and all that stuff.
Oh,
You know,
it's been 5. That's it.
okay. So still, you took 5 years off. I would hope
Like
that, like you're saying, some shepherding has taken place here.
the thing with that game and the thing with Soul Calibur in general is like that trailer looked very flashy visually,
Hmm.
like pyro
But then the
effects and
visuals
like.
don't look that great when you play the game.
Well, it's not that. It's the same damn gameplay from the first, like from the all the others. Like they add more shit, but it's not like radically different.
Right, there's not a lot that gets added to the fighting systems.
And the stuff that
Like,
is like in Soul Calibur 5, they did like super attacks,
hmm.
which just like feels like super out of place in that game.
Yeah, because it's more grounded in other than the ring outs or whatever that happened. But like,
Yeah, they need to add like uh an ability to let your characters transform into animals, like in that beast fighting game. Bloody
just do
Roar,
an
that's it.
animality and
No,
animality like Mortal Kombat.
No, Bloody Roar, the whole concept was like you play as humans and then you can like transform into an animal and like fight as the animal for a while.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah,
You bring
you
that back
could,
too.
right? Like just assign an animal to each person. Just be like, all right, y'all
Yeah.
gonna turn to this. The
Oh, one other question. Who do you think is going to be the guest character in Soul Calibur 6?
by the time that comes out, I don't even really know if well, it's not coming to Switch, so there won't be a Nintendo tie-in. Um, God, I can't think of anything right now that.
For
Unless Marvel unless Disney lets Marvel get involved and you have a Marvel character or something like that.
I think for
Or
Sony it'll be Joel from Last of Us, and
you could have Ao from Horizon Zero Dawn.
and for Microsoft it'll just be a car from Forza. Or
Can't think
Cuphead.
of. That would be really jarring.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely just. For Microsoft, I can't think of anything.
They don't have anything. That's why.
Yeah, like they don't. I mean, like when they got Spawn and the Star Wars, which I think was it Microsoft that got Darth Vader, or was it?
Yeah, and Sony got Yoda, which was broken.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, Yoda was already like having both those characters in there was already kind of just like, oh, okay.
Ezio made sense somewhat because he more or less looks like from that series.
Yeah, and you can make a case for Link, and because he uses swords just like they do, or a lot of the characters do. Whatever, like Hihachi, even I think you can make a case there. But like Spawn, I think is just kind of like, oh, all right, here's this dude. But yeah, I mean, still for having a kind of out of nowhere announcement that the Game Awards can be known for at times, I think it's cool that this got announced there. And that wouldn't be the only one, because they also had the new award for best ongoing game, with basically best early access game or game that never doesn't have a cycle or whatever.
Marvel Heroes won, right?
No, it's Overwatch won over PUBG and a few others. I'm surprised. I thought this was the award for PUBG, really.
Yeah, PUBG didn't win anything, which is kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, I figured they wouldn't win Game of the Year, but I was really surprised they didn't win that game. Or
I knew
the
they wouldn't win.
Game.
I knew they wouldn't win Game of the Year. I mean, no. Yeah. But I think the only PUBG award that they got was that jackass from the Ben Stiller wannabe from Twitch, like won the Gamer Award. Yeah.
The award that I don't care about, so if you want to blast me for it, go ahead. It's just... then after this, they had the other big announcement, which Reggie Fils-Aimé came on stage to announce Bayonetta 1 and 2 being on the Switch February 16th, 2018. I kind of thought that they might be done with putting Wii U ports on the Switch, and looks like no, they're not, which I think it's good also because it continues the whole we're having a big game come to the Switch every month thing, which is good for them right now still.
I think it's good just in general, just because, I mean, Bayonetta 2 was a landmark game for the Wii U,
right?
But not a lot of people still bought it. So,
well, yeah, not a lot of people bought Wii U's. So
yeah, I mean that's the point. Like, so getting Bayonetta 2 on there right now with Bayonetta 1, it's like, okay, here's the backstory, or here's some of the history of the game. Play Bayonetta 2, and then when Bayonetta 3 comes out, it's like, hey, I'm all caught up.
Did you think that... I kind of figured, I was like, okay, if we're taking the time to release 1 and 2, there's gotta be a 3 coming, and here you go.
I think it's personally a shame. Like, I wish Bayonetta was at least on PC as well. And I find it very jarring that series is basically a Nintendo property at this point.
Why? Because of the sexuality of the character and stuff?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like, they're not exactly like, that game's very the cheesecake factor is high. And Nintendo's not exactly known for those types of games. Like, it's not bad necessarily, but it's just interesting.
They tone it down some in 2, though. Like,
yeah.
So it just because they knew it was coming to a Nintendo system at that point, so I'd imagine that three's gonna have some of it, but it's not gonna have a lot. It's like when I talk about Xenoblade 2, it has some of that too. With
Yeah.
so they allow it. It's just it seems like obviously they have that filter. But I mean, look, they're letting Doom and Wolfenstein 2 for God's sakes be on that system. So
Yeah,
you
but
know,
that's just violence. That's not sexuality.
oh, I agree with you, but Wolfenstein 2 has some moments where you're sitting there going, okay, this is a little much, and now you think about it and like, oh wow, this is gonna be on a Nintendo system too. Goodness. But yeah, I think this is great that Bayonetta 3 is coming. I enjoy that series. Now I can finally actually finish playing both 1 and 2. I've gotten through like halfway on both of those. I never got to finish them because I had to sell my Wii U for other stuff, and now you can play them
I
all portably.
I beat the first one, but I haven't played the second one. Obviously.
Totally understood. Yeah, I agree with you. I think at least bringing it to PC would hey get you more sales off that game, Nintendo. Even if you got to have
The,
some of the cut.
the only problem with bringing, like, I really want Bayonetta 2 on PC, but the only problem is the custom costumes. Because literally, like, here's the Samus costume. Here's, Zelda and Princess Peach. I mean, they could get around it, but just saying, here's generic sci-fi costume, not Samus, but that's like the one big issue I see.
Yeah, they could do that. I mean, if that's the worst thing, is to take alternate outfits out. That's the
Also,
least of
like
your worries at that point.
the game, like the PC ports of like Vanquish and Bayonetta 1 are pretty good.
Yeah, I still want to play Vanquish, so it's it is. I think it's at the end of the day, with all the stuff that's going on with Platinum, where they've had problems, you know,
Yeah.
it's good to see them still doing this. They're doing. Oh no, that's not Platinum, but uh, like we've heard them like canceling games, having problems with games more than making them. So it's still good that at least if Nintendo's helping them out for them to keep existing, then
Yeah, do
why
you
not?
enjoy that nice Microsoft Scalebound trailer?
Oh yeah, I was thinking about it
That
so hard there.
that's one thing I brought up to you. Like Microsoft barely had a presence at the show.
Yeah, Cuphead, and that's it. And I think Forza won the best sports game, but
I don't mean necessarily winners. I just mean people. Like Reggie was on stage, or he was interviewed, and Andrew House was on stage, and Microsoft had no one.
uh, honestly, the thing with Microsoft is none of their big games are really coming. I mean, like unless you're gonna have a Halo,
Yeah.
like what are you gonna announce that's gonna make people go, all right, buying that Xbox One X right now?
Yep.
It's I feel like, and then also there was with the Andrew House tribute and him getting to have a big presence and then, Reggie was there. You had Zelda have a lot because they had the DLC, and then they end up winning some big awards. I think they probably reached out to Phil Spencer, but he kind of saw that all the games that were Xbox exclusive were winning smaller categories, and then maybe
Well, the
thought
game of
about go ahead.
the game of the awards stuff was the game of the awards. Oh, nominees were 3 PS4 games and 2 Switch games.
Yeah, that too. There's no game of the year for Xbox, so I think that kind of told them, all right, no point in us showing up here.
Yeah.
So I mean, they did get a nice shout out from the Cuphead people,
Yeah,
but
but
that was about it.
yeah.
With the oh, those ID at Xbox guys, can't wait to have a drink with you guys. That was the extent of Microsoft being mentioned on the show, and we're not kidding. Uh, now you get the. He did tell you right up front this is the longest trailer ever at the Game Awards. I thought we were not going to see any more from Death Stranding for a while, and also for Sony to just. I think this is more Sony really didn't. This is all to do with the Kojima and Jeff Keighley being really good friends.
Yeah.
And Death Stranding has a really long trailer here. I don't know if I can explain so much what's going on. There
were invisible monsters. The end.
Well, they weren't totally invisible because they're coming out of the
Water.
ground. I thought it was just ground that had rainwater on it, but perhaps it is water. I couldn't really tell. The guys.
It's Nanomachine Sun.
Yeah, exactly. So they have these like three older guys. One of them is you can obviously tell it's a known actor. I just can't. He's like Swedish or something.
Mads Mikkelsen, or
yeah,
I forget his last name.
Mikkelsen, but who also wants to be Spider-Man apparently. And
he's a little too old for that.
Yeah, So he's standing to the right of this other guy that gets his foot stuck under this van, and they have these weird like I thought they kind of like were like cameras or something that like stick out of their bags and
it was like a radar
sound.
system.
Oh, it's
or
a
like
radar?
Yeah, because it was like spinning. Like the closer they got it, the higher it spun.
Yeah, so you have that. You have these things coming out of the ground. You have Norman Reedus in like a hoodie, some kind of scientific uniform on. He seems to be like kind of self-thinking. Then randomly you have a baby that's kind of like in his throat or something, and
Yeah, honestly, I was kind of bored by that trailer, except for when that guy shot himself or like stabbed himself. That was pretty good.
Well, it looked like the monsters made him like shoot himself or whatever when they lifted him up in the air.
No, I like he shot his friend when he was getting captured. Right. I thought he was stabbing himself to like not get captured by the machines.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
So but I was joking with you.
I thought the arm hit the gun or whatever when he went up in the air, but you might be right. He might have just shot himself.
No, he was stabbing. He shot his friend. He was stabbing himself with like a knife.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so they wouldn't take him.
So I really want there to be like a suicide button in that game.
Like here, so you don't have to go through all this whatever the hell crazy stuff's going on.
Yeah.
Just kill yourself.
It's just like it's like Nier Automata. If you press L3 and R3 at the same time, you just suicide.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What is this? Reset the game or?
No, it's like an attack.
Oh, okay. So does it actually help you?
I think it damages enemies like around you, and then like, you respawn at a checkpoint with like a new body, but like your clothes are all blown up.
Hey, at least they left those effects in there.
Oh no! When you suicide, you're down to 1 health, and then all your clothes are screwed up.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you just basically try to
blow yourself up. Yeah.
So, yeah. All I was left with was what the hell is happening in this trailer, and Kojima is crazy.
And that game's not coming out for 5 years.
Yeah, as much as they've shown of it, it's got to be coming out earlier than 5 years, though.
I'd say 2019.
That's not too bad. I mean, it's with as much stuff that's in that game and the actors and all that. I think it's. I thought it was interesting that Norman Reedus made the point of nobody can stop us from making this game now.
Except for Sony, who's funding it.
Yeah, except Sony, but I don't think they are. With all the buzz that game generates, why not put it out there? With all the craziness, but geez, I think a lot of people are gonna be talking about that trailer afterwards, just from all the crazy stuff that happens in it. But
I was kind of bored by that trailer, honestly. Like, it was just kind of
because if it doesn't
so.
catch you, you're kind of like, all right.
Well, it's just so like overtly like
Artsy.
obfuscate, like well, hidden, or like they're not trying to explain it at all. So it's like, yeah, I don't care then. Like
He also has a tweet that if you watch both the trailers, the one from last year's E3 and then this one together, you'll be able to catch clues.
I don't care.
So
he can believe
obviously
what he
wants
wants.
you to read into things. So.
I'm sure hidden in the game in the movie somewhere is a pre-order link to some website, but I don't care.
I forgot about the whole they showed the movie thing. Like, oh, and then speaking of movies, they show the Jumanji promo as well, which I get that a lot of people don't play board games anymore, but that kind of felt weird that like, oh, we all of a sudden turned Jumanji into a video game.
Well, I knew that months ago. Like,
I just never paid attention to that aspect of it.
because that's the whole point is the kids become The Rock and Amy Pond. Like, how are you going to do that with a board game necessarily? Like,
yeah, true. They did announce Jack Black's gonna voice a character in Psychonauts 2, so that's
good. He was good in whatever the hell game he did.
Brutal Legend and
Brutal Legend. That was it.
He was in Broken Age as well. So
he's a good voice actor. Like, he has some good like different inflections on his voice.
Yeah, he can do different characters too. So it helps on his end. I think that commercial wasn't long enough to be a big bother, but it also has sort of a relation to video games, so I guess it's whatever. I mean, he could have picked something way out of the. I did like the shot from The Rock at Game Informer for the 3 out of 10 on that bad Spy Hunter game, which a lot of people didn't get to play because they pulled it. It was that bad.
Yeah.
I wonder if people think that Battlefront 2 should be going through the same thing. But hey, they keep just improving the how much you get back for completing things, so that you'll wanna. I just can't wait till like in a month from now they just put all of the microtransactions back in, and EA is just like, we don't care.
Yeah.
The what? So you were talking about that game from
THQ Nordic.
Yeah, the THQ Nordic game.
Winter Survival. Yeah.
So you're kind of interested in the Fade to Silence?
Yeah, it looked not terrible. See, the problem with those games to me is they always have those like dumbass enemies around. Like, I want a game like where I can just build something and forage for supplies. Like the forest is a neat idea. Like, crash land on a island, survive. But then there are like hostile natives you have to contend with, and it's like, no, this is boring now. Because now it's about like combat. I want to like build shit. So.
Well, this is a group survival game, so I'd imagine it might be the same.
Well, I didn't see any group activity in that trailer. It was just that one dude.
Well, the press release that I'm reading says character-driven group survival game.
And it looks like he was like an astronaut or something also.
Yes, that too. Well, he has the outfit on in this picture.
Well, they showed like a rocket, Or they showed
that like landed and
it's like all frozen over.
Mm-hmm. It comes out early access next week, so are you going to?
No, because I don't have a lot of money.
They also announced Sea of Thieves release date too, March 20th, 2018. That was the only other Microsoft thing that got love. Oh well, plus the PUBG, uh,
Yeah, their version.
finally getting off early access and then getting onto the Xbox One.
Yeah.
So good for them. I guess now you can stop debating on the whole. Oh, it's early access, it shouldn't be on your Game of the Year list. They already answered that for you. And Dreams got a trailer. I thought it looked good. It really just, and I don't think it ever was supposed to be, but it just looks like a enhanced version, not enhanced. I don't know a good way to say this, like a better Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
Like
Well, different concept, but like more free form. Little Big Planet was still pretty linear.
right. Yeah, so you have more freedom to create what you want, but it's still about like creating a game within a game. Or
Honestly, I'm not that interested. Like, I didn't get into Little Big Planet at all. So
I wasn't one that got into it either. I got it. I watched friends play it. I had a friend that had it and he liked it and everything, but it's just not my kind of, not that they're not good, they are, but just not my kind of thing. I guess we might as well, I totally forgot about it, but this thing with Joseph Fares with from Hazelight, the studio that makes that made Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, and now they're the ones in charge of A Way Out. They have him up here. Jeff Keighley has him up there to basically, answer some questions about the game. And he's either drunk, high, or both. And he gets up there and goes on a rant.
I find like jet lagged because he's coming from like Norway, like Sweden or Norway or somewhere. So
Yeah, but still, like, his first thing is like, video games are cool. This is the shit, basically, and fuck the Oscars. And then he goes on this thing about EA, and he's like, look, it's cool to hate EA, and all publishers fuck up sometimes. And he goes on, and like Jeff Keighley's like playfully trying to get into like, okay, well if you keep talking, we're not gonna show this game. And he's like, oh, okay, so are we gonna roll it right now? Can I talk after we roll it? It's just like, man, this guy. He made the event in the middle of the show, though.
I look forward to them EA adding loot boxes in his game.
Yeah, somehow, right? Like, so if you want to play the game without your friend, pay $20 more, and you can play solo.
Yeah.
Oh well, no, I think you can still play solo, but apparently like, the game is just doesn't feel the same at all without having the local co-op. So yeah, it was an event. This guy. I get the whole, you gotta have somebody up there protecting EA and all that, and I think A Way Out's gonna be interesting. I felt like that was kind of necessary when you have other people taking shots at microtransactions already, but it's not all gonna be winners for Jeff Keighley there.
Yeah.
So a new 4-player Against the Environment game from the guys that made Payday, called GTFO. Well, the name's gonna make people pay attention.
Yep. It's a clear indication that you can stay away from that game.
There's still a lot of people that like. I think Friday the 13th has kind of made that. I guess I don't know if you can call it a genre or a type of game still viable, but it's certainly before that it was on the death nail. So, but I also feel like that's part with the license and everything else. I don't know that this game's gonna have to be really good in order to get people's attention.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of it. I already said I really enjoyed the orchestra thing for all the Game of the Year games. I think that was a nice way to introduce them all. Legend of Zelda 1, which I think both of us said was probably going to happen. They also showed I think, partially new trailer for Metro Exodus. And that's about it. So,
I actually thought that Metro Exodus trailer wasn't bad.
no, I liked it when they showed it at E3. So, I think it's still going to be. I didn't play a lot of the first and second game, but
I played
seems
enough
to be
of the
good.
second one to when it bugged out.
I know neither one of us play these games, but that's Bloodborne 2, right? The From Software.
Yeah.
That totally felt like all that it needed was more at PSX, because that's what that felt like.
I mean, I think at PSX they'll have that. They'll have like Final Fantasy VII, Kingdom Hearts 3.
You think so? You think Final
Oh
Fantasy
yeah.
7?
They'll show like another area and like show Tifa and Barrett and Cloud off.
I could see Kingdom Hearts 3 certainly because they've showed off several areas already this year. But I mean, that would be a great surprise. I think you'll obviously get more with Dreams. Though they might have gameplay of Dreams there, because I think the Media Molecule already announced that they're going to actually be there. And there was another studio that was. Oh, you're going to get more from the Ghost of Tsushima game, because Sucker Punch said they were going to be there too. Trying to think. I'm sure they'll get. I don't know what else you could show of Last of Us 2, but they'll find
Actual
something.
gameplay.
Yeah, that one most anticipated game. No surprise at all. But hey, why not? So news-wise, there's not a whole lot. I feel like it's a lot of old games getting collections getting announced, and then you also get I don't know if it's a surprising new game or not, but Far Cry 5 has been delayed, along with the Crew 2. The Crew 2 is now coming out like later in 2018 than it was originally, and Far Cry 5 got delayed by a month.
Yeah. The Ubisoft games kind of regularly get delayed, it seems like.
Which is fine, because when they come out, they're good. Well, for the
Yeah.
most part. So, I'm not too worried about that necessarily. Like, we were already having to wait till February. I think at that point was no matter if you're waiting till March. You know.
Yeah, it's 1 month. It's not like, oh, it'll be out next year now. It's like people all get all up in their arms, and it's like, calm down.
Yeah, certainly. I don't think you gotta worry too much about it. Now if it gets delayed again, then that's where you might throw out the red flag on there. But until that happens, hey, get excited for Far Cry 5. I still like the idea of the setting and everything. How they do that in practice and how the story goes is going to be interesting, because everybody's already mad about the whole, political aspect of it. So
Yeah.
March 13th, 2018, we're going to get the Devil May Cry HD collection for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Obviously the first 3 games in one collection, and it'll be $30, running at 60 FPS. So not bad, $30.
Yeah. I mean, for 3 games that one is bad and 2 are okay, like one's okay and one's like beloved by a lot of people, it's fine. It'll probably be cheaper than that Mega Man thing.
Oh, I'm sure, especially since they had to redo the original story to let people know that Mega Man X games are coming to new consoles, but they are not coming as part of a collection, or so the press release says from Capcom, which seems really, really, really contrived.
Greedy.
I mean, you released the
I'd
other
go with
ones in
greedy.
a collection. I mean, why not?
They should release Mega Man. Well, there's two problems. Well, the biggest problem is like X4 through X8 are like large games. Like X4 and through X7 are it's like 650 megabytes because they're all like PS1 games. But
Hmm.
X8 was a PS2 game that's like 4.7 gigabytes. So that's large.
I mean, but they're coming to consoles where you have games that regularly come out that are like 50 gigs and above.
Yeah. Well, it's just like I view it as just greed. Like they should release all those games and Command Mission, which is an awesome Mega Man X RPG, for $20. Like, I would pay $20 for like all of them, but they won't. They'll release some piecemeal. Like, oh, here's Mega Man X 1 through 3, like the first shitty collection, and then the others for like $20 more or $20, in the other collection.
Yeah, I feel like you really could just release it all in a collection and just, hey, let everybody have it all in one deal instead of.
So here's a theoretical question: how much would you pay for every Mega Man game in just one collection?
I feel like 99.99 wouldn't be too much.
I'd probably pay like 50.
Right, but the first collection was what, $30?
Yeah, but that was also overpriced.
Yeah, but they're gonna overprice it. So if you're gonna release each one for $30,
Yeah.
maybe release like Mega Man Soccer and a couple of other things like the racing game.
No,
And
I meant like every Mega Man game, like even
oh
like the
well,
Game
yeah,
Boy
I
one.
think $100. I think it's fair.
Yeah.
Um, I I think also you get the announcement of Mega Man 11, which
I for half a second I was almost fooled that was going to be a good game, and then I remember the past 15 years of Mega Man, and I was like, nope.
at least this one they're not just giving you, oh, here's NES graphics with Mega Man.
Yeah, that's what really turned me off from Mega Man 9 and 10. It's like they caved to the fans, and it's like, no, you have to evolve.
Yeah, if I agree with you on that. I mean, I'm not a big Mega Man person, so I can't
I mean,
comment on that. But
there are Mega Man games I love, but them going like, oh, it has the same 8-bit art style for like the NES games. It's like they did that out of necessity. They didn't do that because they had no other choice at the time.
yeah, I get it, and I think also they were trying to avoid the backlash from people, right?
Yeah,
I think you could have innovated with 10 and it would have been okay, but they chose to do what they wanted, and it, at least now they're doing it with 11, so that's what is good. At least they're not coming out with, okay, well, here's 11, but it's basically the same game, just might get some new levels and whatnot.
yeah,
I think that's it for the news.
yeah.
So anything that happens to come out between now and Saturday, we'll just talk about it on Saturday. So the last thing I wanted to just go ahead and cover it here because there's going to be so much stuff that will get announced at the PSX that we'll get to talk about, and I'm sure there'll be more information that comes out from other things tomorrow that got announced here. So I'm almost done with the game. I'm in the middle of chapter 6, which, as far as I know, that's the last chapter. I feel like as somebody that bought a new 3DS for Xenoblade Chronicles, the first game, I like this one, I think, more than either one of the other ones, just because the story is really, really good, and this is from somebody that I play a lot of RPGs, but there's a lot of RPGs, putting Persona aside, that they have all these great, combat systems, and and this is also open world and everything, but the story is just completely throwaway. And this one actually is like has a lot in it. So it's like the main character is kind of what he is, but a lot of the supporting cast is really good and all that. So you're into it with the characters. The battle system gets deeper as the game goes on. In fact, there's like tutorials given to you halfway through the game, and you like until you get that tutorial, you have these meters that are on the left side of the screen that fill up and blink, but you can't use them until it tells you, okay, you've progressed enough in this game that you can now learn how to use these, which I think is obviously done so that you still don't get overwhelmed. But I think for the most part it works. My only problem with it is I feel like they made this navigation system that's in the game obtuse on purpose so that you spend more time with the game. Like, I'm all for exploring and finding stuff, but you gotta do better than giving me a navigation arrow and then giving me a small little arrow that either goes up or down. That's it. There's no waypoint marker. There's no, here's your thing where you're supposed to go. Nothing. The only way you find out where you're supposed to go is you have to go into like 3 different submenus to find your map that you're on, and then you have to go hope that one of these little parts of the map has a pink icon. And then you still have to be able to read the map to possibly figure out where you're supposed to go. Once you get where you're supposed to go, it's fine. But getting where you're supposed to go sometimes in these big landscapes can be a pain in the ass. So get ready to run around for an hour trying to figure out how to work this arrow. If you haven't bought the game yet, but we're thinking about it, because the rest of it I think is well worth the $60 that you pay, and especially with I'm excited for the expansion pass to come now. But it's like, I just wish navigation wasn't such a pain in the butt. Because if you made it easier to get somewhere, I'm almost like dreading doing some of these side quests, because it's like, oh god, how long am I going to take me to freaking find this this monster that I have to kill to get this thing that it drops so that it makes this recipe that this lady wants or whatever, so. But other than that, I don't know. I know you're not a Switch owner, so you may not care too much, but I think I know it's coming out like after a lot of people are already doing their awards and stuff, so it's not going to get considered, but I think it's definitely one of the best Switch games to come out this year, and that's with a Switch lineup that was, huge on really good games, and I think you can slot it in there as one of the better games this year. I think for sure it's certainly one of the only games this year where I've literally can't wait to get home and play it and stay up till 5 a.m. playing it, and can't wait for work to get over so I can play some more. So,
well, that's taken care of.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so I think if you played the other 2 games or you just played the first one and didn't get X because you didn't have a Wii U, you don't need to play the other games to play this one. It bears the name, but it doesn't really have much to do with the other 2 stories, other than the fact that you're on Titans and whatever. I like the whole. It does follow the whole Xenogears I don't really like. I've never understood the whole connection to that. I know it has some kind of connection to that series with these names, but it does have some long-ish cutscenes. So
Yeah.
the good thing is, you can always hit that home button and come back later. So the invention of modern gaming. But yeah, there are times where you're sitting there going like, "Oh God, I feel like I've been sitting here for like 20 minutes already. Let's go." But yeah, I really enjoyed that game, so I think you guys should definitely check it out if you have a Switch. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us here. Hopefully, Mark feels better by the time Saturday rolls around,
Yeah, we'll see.
and we will be back with some PlayStation Experience reactions and whatever else has been going on before then as well. So until Saturday, we'll see you later, everybody.
Later.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.